ProLine is a CRM platform for roofing contractors, built for the roofing industry specifically. We started in 2021, launched in 21, and then have been growing ever since. Really heavily focused on communication, automating the communication process for contractors. But we've also built quite an extensive infrastructure around that core functionality, around managing projects, managing jobs, managing customers, the sales process. And so we have a lot of features in the platform. It's a very feature-rich platform, and that makes it somewhat challenging to support. Requires having a highly trained, skilled support team in order to support customers. Before working with Puzzle, it was challenging to find the skilled support team that we needed and support personnel. We struggled for matching up what we could afford to budget for support based on what we could charge our customers, because there's some hard limits there on what we can charge our customers. A lot of our competitors, they would simply provide poor support. So rather than, because there's sort of a price pressure, there's sort of can't really charge above X, at least not easily. And so in order to fit the support into that, they would just not do it well. And that's not something that we wanted to do. We wanted to actually provide an amazing support experience for our customers. And so before Puzzle, it was looking very bleak. It was going to be difficult for us to both find the talented people and enough of the talented people in order to provide a great support experience. And so we discovered Puzzle and discovered that working with them allowed us to find those people, and then the number of people that we needed for what fit into what we were able to charge customers. And so we've been able to meet the expectations of our customers when it comes to support, while still being able to bill on par with what our competitors are billing, but then providing a much better experience on the back end. And that has been a game changer for us. Yeah, I don't even think of them as external. As you know, I think of them as internal. I think of them as part of our team. The only thing that feels different is that we have the Puzzle team that we can fall back on to assist with HR concerns, assist with additional training, assist with handling those situations that come up day to day with employees that might be local to where they're located. So you guys have taken out a lot of the pain points of scaling a team anywhere, regardless of where they're located, but specifically them being located outside of the U.S. Nearshore. And so, but yeah, I don't think of them as external. I think of them as part of the internal team. Other than that, I mean, these are that have relationships with everybody else on the team. They work with us every day. They're just as much part of ProLine as anybody else, which is something that was important to me. And so that's been absolutely amazing. The goal here was to create an amazing experience for our customers, to create to make sure they feel both supported and like we truly care about their success. And I think that's sort of a stigma that when people think about outsourcing support outside of the country, they might think of, oh, well, we're just passing the baton, and our customers are going to feel like we don't care about them because we're passing them to this external team that doesn't understand them or maybe doesn't care. But that's not been how we approached it, and it's certainly not how you guys have encouraged us to approach it. And we've been able to build this amazing team that truly cares about our customers, that truly understands our customers. And beyond that, for us working with contractors, a lot of our contractors are more comfortable talking in Spanish than in English. So that's been just a huge added benefit on top of everything else, that our support team is able to fluently and very communicate well in both English and Spanish and be able to jump between the two as needed for different customers. So that was always the goal, was creating that amazing experience, and Puzzle has enabled us to do that. So I started ProLine here in Atlanta Tech Village, and one of the first people that I met, I think on the first day, was Carlos. I remember Carlos also was in the building and had a desk. We both had hot desks, and so we got acquainted on day one, and it felt, at the time, Puzzle was just getting started as well, and so it was just this fun coincidence where we were just building the businesses together, and we were and it even with that being the case, it was never assumed that we were going to work together. In fact, I remember we were planning on having an entire US-based team, and I was actually at a networking event talking to some people at a networking event about how, we needed to find new people, we needed to start scaling the support team and a success team. And I was talking through like what we could afford to pay, and then also what our expectations were. And I remember somebody said, who was also in recruitment, but they were in recruitment here in the US, and they said, "Have you talked to Carlos?" And I was like, why did I not talk to Carlos? I should have talked to Carlos to start. But it was sort of a realization moment of, I hadn't even considered the nearshore approach. I had thought of that more for like development teams, and in other use cases. I hadn't thought about it for support. And then when they said that, I was like, that could work, actually. Like it sort of clicked in my mind. So we talked, and it's been absolutely an amazing fit. I think part of it is, for us, it's not just support. It's not just having someone who our customers to talk to. For us, it's very technical, because our platform's so robust. While we don't necessarily need people that know how to code, we need people that are smart. We need people that are highly capable, that are able to understand nuanced technical things and be able to relate that back to a customer that may or may not be that technical, and be able to bridge that gap between how robust our platform is and those non-technical users that are using it day to day. And that has been an amazing experience with our Puzzle team, is being able to find those highly talented, intelligent, and charismatic, might not, in some cases charismatic, but that very engaging people. It's not just a call center that we're working with. It's specialized, highly trained support and account management. And that has been a game changer for sure. Once we started working with Puzzle, we basically treated them exactly like we would treat any other employee. We put them in our Slack right away. We gave them company emails. We got headshots from them. We set them up on all our internal platforms just the same way we would an employee here in the US. And we send them gear. They get T-shirts, they get hats, they get hoodies. So we treat them exactly the same way. And in return, they've treated us with a ton of loyalty as well. And they really think of themselves as members of the ProLine team, which they are. And so that's been something that was really important. I think that was one of my biggest concerns that I even brought up when I first started talking to Carlos is, are these people going to see themselves as truly part of our team? And the answer has been yes, for sure. They are definitely fully part of the team. They align with our core values. They talk about our core values. They're striving to align with our mission and with the vision of what we're building. And so that's been absolutely phenomenal to see, and an amazing experience through and through. There have been a few challenges as we've brought on people. One is, while most of the people we get through Puzzle are completely fluent in English, we have had a couple people that we really liked, but their English was maybe not quite 100%. And Puzzle did an amazing job working with those people to to improve their English skills. And so I've actually one of those members of the team that came in initially, and it was like, we really like this guy, but the English is not quite where it needs to be yet. He's now has started moving up in the organization, taking leadership, and so that's really cool to see. And so that was a struggle that we were able to overcome with Puzzle's help. One of the other things that we have had to work to overcome is there can be power outages sometimes in Honduras, and with it being support and with our team members being on video calls, it was important that even if the power goes out, that they're not losing access to the internet and they're not shutting down their computers. And so between the fact that they're on laptops that have batteries, between Puzzle providing power supplies and setting up power backup infrastructure, and then also making sure that their internet connections are set up in such a way that they're also maintained regardless of the power being in and out. We've been able to overcome those occasional power outages, and our team is able to continue to stay on those calls, even if the power goes out, and then usually the power comes back on well before those power backups run out of power. But then the other side of it is if there's anything longer lasting, which is rare, but if there ever is, Puzzle's also able to provide co-working spaces where the team can go to and get which have their own power backups and are able to then continue to work in that environment as well. So there's been all of those challenges have been overcome fully and have not been a concern for us since then. Since bringing on Puzzle, I mean, our company has scaled massively. So we started with one person from the Puzzle side, and now I believe we're coming up on 18 or 20. So the team is growing quickly, and that's because of our customer base growing. And so much of we do a lot of marketing, but a lot of our customer growth has come from referrals as well. And one of and part of those referrals are being driven by a large part of those referrals are being driven by the customer support experience. So when we first started working with Puzzle, we were at 60 companies on the platform, many of them very small, and now we're nearing 260 companies on the platform, and many of those companies are large. So our overall daily active users that are using the platform is well over 1,000 now, approaching 1,500 people that are using our platform day to day. And so the support load from that size, that number of users has grown a lot. And with the platform being so robust, there's just very high need for very sometimes lengthy collaborative sessions between our support team and our users and customers to solve problems, set things up, configure things, and find solutions to problems. So in many ways, our support team has become almost business consultants in a way. And that's the way we train them. We train them to fully understand our users' businesses and to be able to get on calls. Like we offer unlimited calls to our customers. So they end up doing essentially consulting. They even a step beyond support and often in many cases. So I honestly don't remember the question.
Oh, we can leave it there.
Okay.
And then the last question is, how has your perspective on sourcing talent?
Before working with Puzzle, I had assumed that working with any talent outside the US would come with lower quality of support, lower quality of the talent. And since working with Puzzle, I have found that to not only not be the case, but in many cases the opposite. I have found that the talent that we get through Puzzle is in many ways better than talent that we can even find here in the US. For example, being bilingual is part of that, but also the team itself is highly capable, very talented, very intelligent, and it would be challenging for us to build a team of that caliber here in the US, regardless of the cost differences. And so been very impressed with the quality of the team that we've received, that Puzzle has helped us build. And that has definitely changed how I perceive nearshore talent. I now perceive nearshore talent as essential. It is essential to be utilizing nearshore talent for growth for any startup, any software company. It just simply makes more sense to be diversifying. We have a very sizable team here in the U.S. as well, but it just simply is good and smart business to be diversifying locations for different aspects of your team based on where the best talent for those teams can be found for a price that fits into what users are willing to pay. And that's what we found with Puzzle. Our experience with Puzzle has been phenomenal through and through. I can't say enough good things about Puzzle. I would say everything that I've talked about already has been amazing, but one of my favorite things personally has been the opportunity to actually go to Honduras and meet the team in person there, and also explore Honduras. That's been an absolutely incredible experience. I actually just got back from my second time in Honduras yesterday, so that has been absolutely amazing. And my advice to startup founders would be you should be utilizing nearshore talent once you start to scale your teams, whether it be development, whether it be support, or whether it be account management. These teams scale well through nearshore, the nearshore approach. So I highly recommend utilizing nearshore for that as soon as you start to scale. You're not sacrificing anything. And you're going to be able to scale a much higher caliber support experience by working through nearshore. Additionally, if you do work with a nearshore team, I recommend treating them like a part of your team, treating them as internal team members as much as possible, and then also go and visit them in person. Go see them. Go actually interact with them. That is a really, especially once your team starts to scale, going and interacting with them, going and meeting them in person is not just important, but it's a really meaningful experience as well.